Good morning. All right. Good morning. Uh, this is your first asynchronous video. A very long time in the making, but finally, we have got to we got around to complete the the video. Now, um, I want to pick up from digestion, and this will serve as your your resource material, your asynchronous material that will aid you along with your notes that I've made for you. All right, so let's pick up from the food test, and I went through and I gave you in your notes um, the different food tests in a table, and also I am giving it to you now in explanation form. I also gave you these pictures, so you can use this video along with the pictures to along with the notes to help you better prepare for whatever assessment that I might use. Alright, so let us look at the test for protein. And I had started this in a class where I spoke about protein being added to sodium hydroxide solution. Right, so like your egg, your milk, you'll mix it up in the sodium hydroxide solution, and then we will drop copper sulfate um, with another substance called buric solution. Um, I think the buric solution is sodium hydroxide solution along with the copper sulfate. That's what made the buric solution. So um, when you mix these samples together, what happens is that if protein is present, then the solution is turned to a purplish color, a lavender purplish color. That proves to you that protein is present in the substance. Now, as I said before, this combination is called the Burick test. The sodium hydroxide first, mix up with the egg white or the egg or the milk, whatever you're testing for protein. If it turns purple, then protein is present. If the substance does not turn purple, then protein is not present. Now, for the simple sugar test, what you would do, you'll get some water bath, and you'll see right here we are not applying fire directly to the test tube or the boiling tube. It is in a water bath, so the water would be boiling, and you put the boiling tube or the test tube inside of the hot water, right? And what you will do, you will put this food substance, and most time, as you can see, we crush the food substance and mix it with water, because that's how it is. In the stomach, it will appear in the stomach. And then you take the Benedict solution and you put on that substance. If the substance that you're testing, the food substance that you're testing, has simple sugar in it, then it will turn a brick red color. All right, and so we have gone through the protein test and the protein test and the simple sugar test. Let's move on to another test. Let me see. Let's move on. Let's go to the vitamin C test. Vitamin C, you have your food substance, all right, and when you put your food substance in the like your orange juice, when you put it inside the boiling tube or the test tube, then the color is changed. Now I want for you to go and just take a quick look on the internet. When you use the DCP or the DCPIP or DCPIP test, is it cloudy white or is it transparent? Is the substance supposed to be cloudy white or transparent? Now I'm going to type it right here for you. Alright, let's see if it comes up. Is this color change cloudy white or transparent? And then let's move this up. Let's see if we can move that text box. Put it right there, and then get back that text. Let's go in the box, get it back in the box. It's supposed to be a question mark. Good, wonderful. Now that's the question that you need to ask yourself, and I think it should be in this book also. Alright, but if not, go on the internet and look for it. Now the test for starch, you have your food substance like your crackers, your biscuit or your bread, mix it up in some water, right? And you shake it up. Then you take some iodine. It's the same iodine that they'll put to use to treat wounds at the hospital or the clinic. And when you put it on it, if starch is present, and remember starch is a complex sugar, right? Remember I told you that like building a house, each simple sugar, right, is like a building block, right? And a starch molecule is like a big brick wall or block wall. All right. Now test for so if your food substance has starch in it, then it will turn blue black. Now there's a next test that we can use for the test for fat. We use a grease paper where you will get a paper similar to the filter paper. Sometimes we do use a filter paper, and we rub the substance with fat on it, allow it to dry. If a spot is seen, a grease mark is seen, then we know that fat is present. Another test that you can do is get that food substance, put some alcohol inside the food substance, mix up the food substance with alcohol, and if it turns cloudy white, then fat is present. All right, and it is the same way to test for oil. Now we went through and I spoke about the teeth, right? And we talk about the molars, the premolars, the canine, the vampire as we say it out here in Jamaica, the vampire teeth, the incisors. And if you notice, coming from the back to the front, we can notice these at the back, the molars are flat, the premolars are not so flat, but they're getting to become flat because the molars and the premolars function as crushers, right? While the canine tear the food, and the incisors that looks like a chisel or a knife edge, they are used to chop the food. The canine tears the food while the premolar and the molar crushes the food. All right. Now we're moving down the line. I had explained to you that you need to know the structure of the teeth also, where you have the part that you can see. So let me just put this here quick and fast. This is the visible side, and this is the unseen side. So the visible side is what you will see unseen side is what you will see where the gum, right, covers the unseen side. The unseen part is buried in the gum, and as you can see, the gum here acts as the borderline between the visible side and the unseen side. The visible side is what we call the crown, and in the crown you have the enamel, the dentin. All right, you have the enamel, which is a hard outer layer made up of calcium and other minerals that make it very hard, right? Also, so the enamel is actually the order of these of the two that makes up the crown, the visible side. Then the dentin is that piece inside. After you pass the enamel, the dentin is a hard material, and it is hard because it protects the blood vessels and the nerve vessels within it. Alright, and we'll call within this section the pulp, where you will have the nerves and the blood vessels. So when you have a decay, what happens when you have a decay? What basically happens is that the enamel tears away, and the dentin decays. And this, when this starts, this section starts to decay, it becomes black. When you look on the rotten teeth, this is called this side the rotten teeth, because we say the teeth is rotten because you're seeing the black left from that surface. So the enamel would tear off, wither away, right, because of bacteria, right? The bacteria feeds on the germs in the mouth, the gum, on the edge of the teeth, and that same bacteria now eats those nutrient that it's getting and then excrete it as waste. That waste product deteriorates or eat away the enamel of the teeth, causing a breakdown of the enamel. All right, now we can go ahead and take a read of this section here. We'll talk about, you see, the highlighting structure and care of the teeth. Take your time to take this weekend to go through this. We have a long weekend, right? So we can go through the structure and care of the teeth. Good. Now, why is digestion necessary? Well, just imagine that's a pretty straightforward question, but just imagine you eating a nice dumpling and you have to just throw it down your mouth and your throat and just swallow it. Now, that would be hard. The food, the nutrient that you need from the food will not come from the food. Alright? So we have two ways in explaining why digestion is necessary. We have two ways in which we can bring this out, and they work hand in hand. Alright, so we digest food mechanically or physically, right? This word right here could also be mechanically, right? No chemical is used in this type of digestion. So by physical means, right, we break down the food by physical means into smaller pieces of the same kind. This is done by for example, by the mechanical action of the teeth and the grinding action of the stomach, right? The stomach acts like your hand when your parents arm when they are really kneading the flour. You notice how they knead the flour. The walls of the stomach actually crushes the food that is in there also. So this is a physical change when you have the mechanical action of the teeth masticating the food, teeth crushing, grinding the food, and your stomach providing also a grinding action. Now when you use chemicals, now when the chemicals in our body now, right, break down soluble molecules, right, by the use of enzymes. Enzymes are chemical catalyst, biological catalyst, meaning these are biological substance found in the body that speeds up a reaction, right, or slows down a reaction. It alters how a reaction goes, either fast or slow. These are that's what a catalyst does. And enzymes are biological catalysts, mean they are found in the body, right? Now they are lifting um, substance that speeds up or slow down how fast a reaction occurs. Now, each of the main nutrients is broken down into its building blocks. So we have complex like starch going down to glucose, and we when you reach grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, you will touch this topic again, right? So um, protein is made up of a substance called amino acid. So what I'll ask you to do, just to give yourself an idea, all right, what are the building, nope, building blocks of the following? Let's see where I did not go. Building blocks. Alright, hold on. Put this here. Grab, come. Grab you. Grab you. Let's see if I can put you here. Get back the typewriter. Alright. See if I can. The following. So we'll go fats and oil. We'll go protein. I'll put it where you can see it. Starch. Let's work with those for now. There are more, but let's work with those for now. Alright. I can small this up right here and put it right there. Our building blocks of the following. I'll put alright, so you can go and look that up also. Alright, now some important words here: ingestion and digestion in the mouth. Now when you take in food, we call that ingestion, right? Digestion now is breaking up large molecules of large food particles into smaller smooth particles by mechanical slash chemical mechanical slash physical and by chemical means. All right, and when we chew the food and mash up the food in our mouth, we call that mastication. So we say we masticate the food. We use our teeth for mechanical slash physical digestion and enzymes in the saliva in our spit for chemical digestion. All right, remember that line. Good. Now, although you eat food, it is not strictly inside your body until it is absorbed into the blood. Please bear that in mind. Some fun facts right here. Humans are omnivores because we eat both plants and animals, right? And we use knife and cooking to prepare our food, and our teeth are not very specialized compared to other animals that you see that have like the shark that has very sharp pointed teeth for tearing meat, right? Now, herbivores such as cow and sheep have large, flat teeth for grinding hard plant material, and also we do not digest plant materials. They pass through the body. All right. Now now you have carnivores such as dogs and lions have very large canine, the vampire teeth, yeah, to kill and tear prey, and strong premolar for grinding meat and cracking bones. Wow, wow. Serious stuff there, people. Now, what does it mean? Nutrition. The whole feeding process, including ingestion, digestion, egestion, absorption, and assimilation. That's what I'm going to, where you're going to know these words also. The animal alimentary canal is that it is basically from the mouth, starting from the mouth, the tube that goes right down to your stomach, your small intestine, your large intestine, go right to the anus. All right. Now, the digestive system is basically the alimentary canal plus the associate glands such as the liver and pancreas. All right. So these are the things here. I think I should have highlighted them in your notes. Right. Pay attention to them, please. Now, as I said, I will encourage you to read the book, and even though I am going through, I want you to read the book also. If there is any question, you can text in the WhatsApp group. I'm not seeing any text in the WhatsApp group, but I know there is going to be a time when we hear about tests coming up. Yes, the final test, to test what we know. I know that persons are going to be calling my phone and begging me, sir, help me with this. Don't wait until the last minute, guys. I can be busy. Or just a warning, I can be busy. Alright? Alright. Moving along. Now, digestion and absorption and egestion. Good? Now, starch enzymes. Let's look at some chemical. We're going to go more now in the chemical, move away from the mouth. Then the mouth, chemical digestion starts in the mouth because we have a substance called saliva amylase, right? It's an enzyme that breaks down starch in our mouth. Alright? We have a lot of enzymes in our mouth that help us to break down starchy food. Alright? Now, we're moving away. We talk about mashing up the food, grinding up the food, crushing up the food, using the mouth and way. We're moving from that point now, and we're going more to the stomach, right? And this is where more chemical digestion takes place. So we're looking at our food containing protein, carbohydrates, and fat. These are broken down by physical change in the mouth. So masticate it up, right? Just a nice little thing I am saying, what you would say in proper English, standard English, that the food is masticated by the mouth, and then by chemical changes using enzyme to make the end product. This is what we're talking about, guys. If you look right here, you can see your protein molecules, the enzyme work on the protein molecules, making them into amino acid, the very simple form. That is what goes into the bloodstream, right? Now we see starch being acted upon by an enzyme from in the mouth, and that break that the starch up into its simple glucose form, right? And then we see fats and oil being acted upon by an enzyme also, and we get fatty acid and glycerol. For persons who are interested in food and nutrition, pay attention. Now we're talking about swallowing now. Let's back up a bit and include another physical process, right? It's not really digestion, but it aids in digestion. Now remember that I had said some time ago that this word can also be spelled ESOPHAGUS, the esophagus. We see the Americans using that term a lot, the esophagus. Now, swallowing an esophagus, the ball of food from the mouth are swallowed, right? A flap tissue folds over the entrance of the windpipe so the food does not go into the esophagus and the trachea, right? You will learn that this small flap, see it right here. Let me see if I can get something to put there. This is what you will learn it to be the epiglottis. See it here, right here. Good. It, this is the reason why you don't talk. Right? When you talk, this has to open and shut. Good. That has to open and shut for you to make sound. And when you talk and eat, it has to open while you're talking. And if you're doing that, then you have a choke. Simple maths. Right? Now, what happens is that when you eat your food, your tongue rolls the food into a ball, and we call that ball a bolus. But I'm not seeing where you need to know this term, right? So roll it into a ball, and then a wave-like motion takes the food along the alimentary canal. You will see how it is, how long the alimentary canal is, and it's a wave-like motion. You know, like when you're squeezing out your toothpaste, you have to squeeze it and push it down. Squeeze it to the toothpaste tube and push it down. Especially when time mommy or daddy forget to buy one new toothpaste, and you have to squeeze out. That's how the food is being squeezed and pushed to the stomach in the esophagus, and we call that a process. See the name of the process here. Let's highlight this again. We call it peristalsis. Peristalsis. Alright? Now, so we have some meaning here. Ingestion, the taking in of food into the mouth. Digestion, the physical and chemical breakdown of large molecules of food into small soluble ones. We're going to talk about egestion now. We haven't touched that yet. We're going to talk about egestion, which is the removal of dry food remains called feces from the anus. Then we have absorption, the uptake into the bloodstream of soluble food substances. And then we'll talk about assimilation, the use that is made of absorbed food particles. It's integration into the body, because you know protein molecules are going to go to build cells and tissues, so they are going to form our muscles and tissues and blood. That's what we mean about assimilation, when these nutrients that we take in, when they are broken down into in the smallest form, the building blocks of their material, and they become a part of us. Now there is, as I have told you about catalyst, there is this section that talks nicely about the catalyst that we can read and get some more insight on. Now I would like you to go through these fun facts, and these fun facts kind of open your eyes to what is needed to know, like how long it takes for your food to go down the alimentary canal, what the process of peristalsis, right, and how we get rid of food. I want you see right this one right here. I'll elaborate on it. Getting rid of feces is not excretion. Excretion is a process of getting waste out of the body, right? Now your feces is no waste product. It is the amount of food that you eat that your body did not use any at all. So it wasn't act upon by any chemical means to find any new chemical, right? But we notice it dark brownish, it decolorized and have a odor. That odor that you smell on your feces mostly comes from the inside of your body. That's how you smell. If you should turn your inside out, that's how you smell, right? And then it cannot be ingested back into the system for digestion, because bile and all these and some other chemicals were sprayed on it, so it make it unfit for consumption. I hope we are understanding this concept. Now, digestion in the stomach. In the stomach now we see a lot of chemicals working, a lot of enzymes working on the food. Alright? Now, what we look at now, that we are going to see digestion in the first part of the. Let me go through stomach. The stomach is a part of the alimentary canal that is enlarged like a bag, right? And it has several layers of muscles. So the muscles here are very thick, people, which means that they can churn, meaning them are full of food, and this is the churn and break up of food into smaller particles is a mechanical action that we were speaking about earlier on. Now the wall of the stomach also produce acidic um, an acidic environment, or what we call acidic stomach juice, gastric juice, which contain an enzyme pepsin, and this enzyme breaks down most of the protein that we intake in our body at this level. All right, and we have some hydrochloric acid in our stomach, and this helps us to kill the bacteria. When the bacteria, sometimes we have a stomach condition where too much bacteria are being produced in the stomach, and what happens, it neutralizes the hydrochloric acid, and that causes some negative side effect like stomach ache and everything there. All right, now look at this now, the digestion in the first part of the alimentary canal, now the esophagus. Let me take you and let you see what the esophagus looks like. This is basically what the esophagus would be represent, this long tube that connects the stomach to the mouth. All right, now the digestion that occurs here is mainly because of the bile and pancreatic juice that are secreted in it. So the food, the ball of food, leaves the mouth and comes through the esophagus or the esophagus through peristalsis, right? And then enters the stomach. Gastric juice starts to work on it, the pepsin. Pancreatic juice contain lipase, amylase, tryptase. Lipase digest fats and oil. Amylase digest starch. Right? So pay attention to these enzymes here and ensure that you know what they're digesting. Alright? So we are there. Alright? Bile is sprayed on the food from the gallbladder, right? Come through the bile duct, sprayed on the food. And what this does, any unnecessary and undigested fat that is left over is sprayed, and it emulsifies the fat, meaning it split up the fats into smaller molecules. All right, now the definition, not the definition but an explanation of what bile is and where it comes from is seen right here. See, we're talking about pancreatic juice coming from the pancreas. I'll talk about lipase, amylase, and tryptase. Alright. Now we make insulin in our pancreas, and what it does, it helps us to regulate the sugar, right, that we have in our body. When the pancreas goes dead or it goes dormant, inactive, then we develop what we call sugar, aka diabetes, or we develop diabetes, aka called sugar. Alright, now we're talking about in the rest. Now you can read through here and you'll see what happens to the rest as the food goes down the alimentary canal. Alright, now where does absorption takes place? If you ever go country and eat cow tripe, or if your parents cook cow tripe, that's the alimentary that's the small that's the wall of the large and small intestine, right? And inside of it we have finger like structures, and this is what we call a finger like structure, the villus. This structure here, these are, you see millions and trillions of these, right? in our in our element in our small intestine, right? Some in our large intestine also, but more likely right here from the the small intestine. And in reality, this is how they look, right? I might not I might not instruct you to know this, but it will be good if you can take the time and go through it. And if I ask you to reproduce it or to label it, you are able to do so. All right, guys. So moving along. Now this is your the table of your summary, right? Please know this table. This table needs to be known. This table needs to be known. We all have this textbook. We can go through it. Now the large intestines, regions of the large intestines are the cecum and the appendix. Sorry, I myself does not have my appendix. My appendix have been taken out, right? It is said that the appendix back presently does not um, has any major function in the body, but it was said that back in the days when our meals were more like vegetables and plants, more plant-based, then it was in operation. So we as a people now have grown out the use of our appendix. Alright? Now we have the colon, which is a very large part of the appendix, of the very large portion of the digestive system, the large intestine, and that, and I can show you, see it here. So I have the cecum, the appendix, the colon, and the colon you have the rectum right here. Alright, so this diagram right here, this diagram, you need to know it. What happened in the digestive system, please go through this. Alright, now let me just, problem in the digestive system, vomiting. This is the reverse action of peristalsis. Instead of the esophagus is moving the food downward, some chemical imbalance, some abnormal problem occur, and what is happening is that the food now starts to move the opposite, the muscles starts to move the opposite direction, hence the food substance that is in your stomach or what was in your alimentary canal going down into your, what was in your esophagus going down, it comes back up. Call that vomiting, diarrhea. Bacteria in the food may irritate the large intestine. The intestine does not absorb water, but sends the feces out as runny diarrhea. Alright, constipation is when time the food is so hard and it cannot um, cannot soften, so it comes out very hard. Don't know if we ever been constipated, but we all know what running belly is. Right? We all know what running belly is. So assimilation now, right? This section tells you what happens, how the food goes to different particles. So glucose is needed for respiration, right? Excess carbohydrates are converted into fat. So we can go through this. This tells us now how the food particles that we have digested, how they play their part. Alright? How they play their part in in our body, being part of our body, or what's the use of them. So you have a few important diagrams. Alright? You have this diagram here. Then you have this table here. Then you have this diagram here. right? This diagram is important also. This diagram, so most of your diagrams are important, and it's important that you take the time out and go through it. So at the beginning of class you'll be going through this video. I know you more than likely you hearing my voice now would be that you're at the end of the video presentation, right? So what is happening now, you're going to take the time now and go into your book, right, and try your very best to highlight and know your diagrams, know the different diagrams that I have highlighted, right? We have the teeth there, a different food test diagram, this teeth diagram, where this one right here is very important to us. It is important that you know this diagram here. Good. You might see it on your end of term test, and you need to label it. So ensure that we get this diagram in our heads. Alright, that's one. Let's go down. This diagram is also an important diagram. Right? This one here, this table here, and most of all this diagram. These are the important diagrams, right? Get to know them. Alright, take the time now to go through what you need to go through. Alright, all the best. I will be available on WhatsApp. Text me if anything. Alright, have a wonderful day.